Okay, great. This is really amazing, Smitha, to have you in this special connect, which is the Hall of Fame. And we do that for people who get some breakthrough after they go through the program of customer experience mastery. And I'm so happy, so proud of what you have done in the last couple of months after you graduated from that program. I want to welcome you, Smitha, to this special Hall of Fame where I'm going to unpack your journey and what you have been, doing in the last few months. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Rajat. And it's been quite an eye-opening journey ever since I completed CX Pioneer, and it's given me a direction, and I've just held on to that direction, and my journey is still on.
Amazing, amazing. So, people who just want to watch this, I want to let you know Smita heads the customer experience function in a small finance bank, and that's growing really fast, especially in the customer experience space. As I interact with Smita, I learn there is so much that's happening, which is cutting edge in the customer experience practices. And we'll hear more about that. But Smita, I want to know from you little bit more as to before and after, and I also would mention some of the awards and recognition that you have received by the virtue of doing the work that you have done. So what has really shifted what were you doing before the customer experience mastery program and before you got the certified customer experience pioneer accreditation, after doing the program and after? So I want to hear from you the before and after story.
Yeah, sure. And I'm so happy to share that with you because you've been so pivotal in this journey. So prior to taking on the CX role, I was into service delivery and in customer service. So I was heading customer service for Equitas, and so there was this new role called customer experience that came up. Okay, so according to me, customers experience is anything and everything. Okay, so when they gave me this role, I was slightly confused. Is it going to be internet banking, mobile banking, website? What should I do? Where should I start? And it looked all so big, so huge. Didn't know where to start and completely confused. Should I take this role? Should I not take this role?
Mm,
Etc.
mm,
And so I thought that, okay, let me give it a shot.
mm,
But I needed the arms and ammunitions to give me a direction of what I should be looking at, what I should be focusing on, and how do I get a structure to this entire huge thing, right?
mm, mm,
So then I attended the CX Pioneer, which you had done, and it just gave me what I needed. It gave me the direction, the six pillars that we talked about in the CX Pioneer. I hold it close to my heart. And I think
mm.
that's what made the difference. And I was so confident after that training that, okay, now I'm very clear as to what I need to focus on. I don't have to go all around the place. It's these are the things that I should be working on, and every small progress is a progress. So that kind of firmed up in my mind, and there started my journey on CX. So thank you so much, Rajat, for it. I can't tell you in words as to how grateful I am to have attended that, and you just made that package so simple for me to take it on.
Fantastic, Smita. I think I've always been impressed with your dedication, the way you made the framework, your own, and the pace with which you implemented it. That, really is showing in your work and the impact. And it's not, and I'm not seeing everyone with same zest and same commitment. So I think that's your differentiator that you bring to this whole experience. And thank you for you know, being a role model in the kind of work that you put. As a result, I know a couple of months back you got this Women CX Professional of the Year award. Amazing feat. And now, just a day or two back, you got the CX Champion Bank of the Year award. So I really want to hear from you. What are the two, three things that you have really implemented after the program that is actually given this momentum and this given this kind of recognition to the work that you've been doing. So that might be an inspiration to so many other CX leaders as well, as to what is it that you have turned around or impacted, that these accolades are coming to your way, which is obviously on virtue of some of the great work that has been happening that I am aware of, right? So please tell us.
Yeah, sure. So the first thing that we talked about in the program as well is the culture and the strategy, okay, which is at a top level, right? Now I'm not going to delve into culture, but
Yes.
definitely on the strategy part of it. It gave me a feeling that while it's important to service all customers, what is the business also wanting to do, right? So we got together, we framed as to what is it that we want to do in terms of customer segments. Okay, which are the customer segments that we're going to focus on? We got on a CX philosophy, so we got that scripted, we got that written, and I have it in my sign off, and my entire team has it in its sign off. We got this CX philosophy cleared by the business, by MD, all of them, and we have the strategy also done for different customer segments as to what should be the service approach for each of them. What is it that we are going to do, and how is it that we are going to do? So, from the strategy perspective, we were extremely clear as to what investments we need to make in which segments. And it's not like it's not like we're going to bleed with CX coming in. Okay, so we were very clear about that. Okay, so our investments were focused on getting certain things done. So for a particular segment, okay, where which is the lowest in terms of profitability for the bank, we said that we will have a completely digital approach, right? Where very little in terms of physical interaction will happen, okay? And we said that you'll have a middle segment where you need to give both, right? And however, will it be a instant kind of a human interaction with digital? Okay, so we said that, okay, this will happen first digital and second human. And then we had another segment, which is our HNI category, where we said that digital is anyways there, but instant human interaction, right? So we had that kind of a segmentation done, and that gave us a lot of clarity on what investments we have to do where, right? Post that, after the strategy was finalized, we went ahead and just implemented all the initiatives that we had to do to get these pieces right. So what we did was the one which was completely digital. We also saw how can we ensure quick responses. How can we ensure in every channel? So we opened up a lot of channels. So we had web chat, we have chat bots, and we're still doing a lot of enablements in each of these in each of these service channels, where the customer himself or herself can just go and take on the service. Similarly, for internet banking, mobile banking, huge amount of enablements, where the customer doesn't even have to go to the branch for any kind of a service. He can just go to the internet banking, mobile banking, and if he wants to either change his mobile number, or he wants, so there are some list of DIY services that we have. And wherever there is a documentation that is required, we have a video banking service. So at the comfort of your home, you just want to change the mobile number, you can log into our app, click on mobile number change, get connected to a video banker, and then the updation of the mobile number is completed with the full KYC related regulation that is there in terms of getting things updated. So one thing was the entire bank stood and said that okay, we have to do these enablements. So there was a risk team, there was a compliance team. So it is I mean, whatever we are doing in CX is so much a joint effort. Okay, it's not a one person thing at all, right? So
Right.
it is such a joint effort where multiple teams. So we had the process team, which was there, which was telling us that these are the steps that you need to ensure, and this is what the regulation says. and we had validated that with compliance. There were certain areas where we had so many doubts in terms of whether video banking as a concept can be done. So the compliance team then went back to RBI, cross-checked with RBI. So this humongous amount of work that as a team we put in, right? So it's not an individual, it's not really an individual work.
I know.
And then we had, of course, so once we finalized on all of this, came the IT team, which took the lead in terms of ensuring that things are developed. Then, of course, you have the testing part of it. And then we went live on all these channels. And by then, the service channels as well were ready. And so all this was happening in bits and pieces. So some part of it was going live. So it is not like lock, stock, and barrel, we went live with all of it. But in bits and pieces, as and when modules were getting ready, it was just getting launched. So holistically, if a customer is taking an account with Equitas Bank, just the mobile app is more than enough, or internet banking is just more than enough to bank with us from the comfort of his home. So,
Amazing.
we wanted to ensure that the comfort factor, the speed factor, all that is taken care of.
Amazing. Amazing. Thanks for mentioning those keywords of comfort or ease and speed, right? These are, I remember you putting that as the cornerstones, giving some principles. So I hear you saying, talking about philosophy and then getting the buy-in, then some of the aspects of digitization and human. For certain segment, it was digitization first where it was needed. Somewhere it was already digitization. You talked about human interaction and everything possible through a mobile app, right? So there's a lot of vision that has gone in, and as you said, really clearly underlining that it is not a single person or single-handed effort. It's not. I know the difference that for all the people who might be watching, listening, is this, that CX is never really one man show, because there are so many departments, teams, but you need a strong leader at the same time to drive it, right? So CX as a framework can be available when you go through some of the program that I run, for example, which is CXPI. A lot of empowerment comes in terms of clarity, in terms of frameworks, in terms of processes, but you need to make it your own. And I think this is really a classic example, a great story there of how you get empowered and you as a leader have the ammunition, and you go with that with conviction, and you have to still drive hard through the organization. So Smitha, that's a great again a great example of putting it there, making it happen, right? That's making it happen is not everybody's cup of tea. Great. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I'm so keen to hear more and more, because I know there is so much more that can be covered in just few minutes, and that's so exciting. And in fact, a whole book can be written, I'm sure, once once at some point of time when you get that space, you might even think about that. Okay, great. So next, and just changing a gear a bit, and I want to know from you, the aspect of this whole CX space. What are you seeing? Thanks for mentioning that when you came about, you reached out to me that time. This role was just, offered to you, and you were uncertain. And in a short period of time, from being uncertain to absolute certainty in terms of what needs to happen and making it happen. This is a super fast journey. By the way, how many months? I don't recall. When did you do the CXPA Masterclass where you got this
I think
certificate?
it's been a year now.
It's been a year. Okay.
I think slightly more than a year now.
Yeah. So maybe around, let's say, maybe a year, 12, 14 months. In that, this is the super speed. Now, what really made it happen? Give me three things that led you to this fast track results, both in terms of internally on organization, and now externally, your community, which is banking community, your fraternity, which is, CX, let's say, our CX community is recognizing by bestowing these, the Women CX Professional of the Year Award and CX Champion Bank of the Year Award. These are not, out of, as I learned, like more than 300 applications were there. From the 300 applications getting picked, So how could you do it? What are the three things that gave you the speed from being uncertain to, absolute certainty and results?
Yeah, so the good thing is uh, the bank that I work in is extremely absorbing,
Mm,
which means to say we love to do new things. We're so
mm,
open to do new things. So the
mm,
leadership team is very digital, as
mm,
in digital minded. We want
mm.
to try out new
Okay.
things. We're ready to spend if it's making sense. And
Mm.
we're ready to spend only if it's making sense.
Okay.
So
Okay. Mm.
So
Right.
from that perspective, this was, I think the timing was so right because we
Mm,
had a growing base. We had digitally acquired accounts which were increasing in number.
mm,
So for us, this was just complementing whatever our growth was because we had to quickly put in something in place. Otherwise, you would have customer complaints all across the place, and hence dissatisfaction would definitely be there if we are not going to address the growing base and we don't have a service structure at all. So that's going to be very disheartening. So this was also the need of the hour.
mm,
And I think at the right time, I did the training program, which told me that this is how I need to approach,
mm,
right?
mm,
So the approach was very clear in my mind, and I knew exactly what I had to do in terms of targeting which audience to get what approvals, etc., etc. So that part of that clarity I got only after the CX point year, and thanks
mm,
to you for that. And I should say that post that training, it became so easy for me because I knew exactly XYZ had to be done. So
mm,
these were my deliverables in my mind that this
mm,
I had to complete, this I had to complete, this I had to complete.
mm,
So if we have to make so the bank ready for a future in terms of volumes, in terms of things, these are the couple of things we had to do.
mm,
So I was able to articulate those thoughts really well, and of course, my bosses it was extremely supportive of whatever our strategies were, and then we put it across to the business leaders and to the MD, and things just fell in place. I didn't even have time to think that will it not go through at all? Should I take so much an effort to convince them? But I
mm,
think it was certain amount of pushback was there on certain specific items which were investment heavy, but
mm.
apart from that, I think, everybody were in agreement that we just had to go ahead. So I
Got it.
think that's the good thing of a growing bank
Right.
where you're ready to absorb.
Right. Great. Thank you, Smita. I think there's so much that you talked about already clearly. I can see many things falling in place, and you talked about the timing and talked about the framework and the support system. Now, I want to again ask you a different question, which is, w- what do you think if CX professional does it right? Now, I'm asking you on behalf of so many CX professional, so many customer centric leaders, all everybody who's in this space of supporting, whether it is digitization, IT, processes, strategy, culture, all any everybody encompassing in this building a customer centric organization and delivering great customer experience. uh, what is your take as a leader? Where can they see their future as? And I mean, I've heard leaders saying, why can't I be the CEO if I'm the CXO, which is Chief Customer Experience Officer or Head of CX? So, do you think this track of CX, what is the promise that it holds in terms of professional growth and epitome of growth? Where can it take you? What's your take on that?
So yeah, definitely a CXO. So the difference, according to me, between a CXO and a CEO is just the financials, right?
Hmm.
A
Hmm.
person with strong financial sense can definitely
Hmm.
be a CEO. And if you, as a CXO, if you're going to equip yourself with a strong financial sense and business vision in terms of what strategies you need to adopt to grow
Hmm.
your business lines, I think
Hmm.
that's a terrific combination. And
Hmm.
of course, it is building your skills, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
if you're building your skills to be a CX professional, and you want to, and you're aspiring to become a CEO, of course, you need to build those skills as well,
Right.
like a plus, 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 plus.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
yeah, why not?
Mm.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Yeah. So I think what you're saying is, there are many things which are possible, and it is possible to go to the next level or the ultimate position, the CEO, provided you have gathered those necessary skills as well. Okay, now I want to ask you, you've been through, I think you talked already a lot good about the CX mastery program, which leads to this CX pioneer certification. I have many people who have attended this program, and they start to, proudly display, talk about that credentials, because it's unique in a way. And, I also see that it enriches people in terms of their CX foundation. And the good thing is, most of the people already have great experience. They're not they're not entry level, they're already leaders in their own space. It is just a little bit of direction setting, like you said, and that ran with it. So what would why would you recommend a CX pioneer program that you went through, and that we offer? Why would you recommend, and to whom? What would be your response to this?
So anybody who's passionate about, who has that empathy, feeling of empathy in whatever they do, and passionate about uh, servicing, either a customer or an internal employee, whoever it may be, uh, any one of them can do this course, and it gives a lot of insights in terms of directionally what you need to do,
Hmm.
right? So sometimes that's all we need a direction. We need to know what this umbrella comprises of. Should I do all of it? Should I take it in bits and pieces? So this training gives you that bit. And I think any customer service professional, or why not even an HR professional in their own space for employees, there's a lot. So CX does not only talk about customer experience, but also employee experience, right? From that perspective, even HR professionals in a different way can adopt various strategies to ensure that their employees are able to deliver the best to their customers, right?
Right.
So
Right.
from an internal approach as well, I see this applicable for, in fact, all marketing, for people who are doing marketing as well. So I think this training is a good eye opener for across departments. So people in marketing, people in HR, people in customer service, as I mentioned, I think it gives you a perspective, it gives you a feeler of what you can impact the organization with, and then you internalize it and see how you're going to apply it. So that's how you have to look at it.
Great. Thank you, Smita. All right, so we start to, wrap up. In the interest of time, I don't want to hold you much, but I want to know from you, what are you looking forward to? How does it feel to be in this space? Like, again, when I met you first, I got a sense, CX is going to get enriched because of a leader like you. And I'm so glad that, my intuition, or maybe I would have mentioned it to you or not, uh, my observation has come true already. Right. So
Thank
what's
you.
the,
Thank
what,
you so
yeah,
much.
great. Thank you. Thanks to you. So, what is the next milestones? How does it feel? One. And second is, what's the next milestones that you are looking forward to?
So I'm like a child who has a white canvas. I'm drawing all what I can,
Right.
and I think it's kind of limitless. I think I've just made some baby steps, but yeah, there's a lot more, and with the technology innovations that are coming up, I'm like,
Mm,
okay, so this should be the next. This should be the
mm,
next. Now, Chat GPT is there with us,
mm,
and
mm,
how is it that I'm going to use Chat GPT
mm,
to enrich the customer experience, is a thought that's running in my mind as well. And
mm,
several other things. How do I ensure that every point of interaction I make
mm,
it quick and fast for the customer, be it a branch interaction or be it an interaction anywhere else? So
mm,
how do I give that superior experience is something that is constantly something that I'm working on. I don't have an answer yet. I'm just making baby steps.
Hmm.
So those are my milestones, small milestones. Let's see where it goes to.
Yeah, there's so much wisdom in that, Smita. I think sometimes we start to see, okay, let me get there, do this big thing, big bang, and all, right? So, and I can now connect the dots because when I spoke sometimes to you, you talked about journeys, and I was wondering, you to spend so much time in the at this micro level, and even now you're saying I'm focusing on small steps at the same time, bringing in AI, Chat GPT, but for a very focused reason, right? So I've seen that as your one of your strengths, this focus, and also that reflects in your response. um, how does it feel? What feeling do you have, like achieving and now looking forward? What is it? Are you feeling excited, uh, you know or inquisitive? What is it? What's that?
So yeah, so any award is definitely a kind of a motivation
Hmm.
to do more. But I always keep thinking, is this it?
Okay.
So
Right,
is
right.
this it? So yeah, I'm a little.
Hmm.
What can I say? I should be doing more. I should be doing more. That's
Yeah.
all.
Hmm.
That's all comes to my mind.
Hmm.
So I'm not hitting the roof when I get an award, but at
Hmm.
the same time, I'm wanting to understand that how can we deliver the best to our customers. We've not reached there at all, just not
Hmm.
reached there at all.
Hmm.
So that's the thought that's always there with me,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I guess I don't know when I will feel that sense of achievement.
Yeah. Get it. Yes. Yeah, that's again it's a hallmark of a leader. It's not about achievement, it's about impact, and that can happen every day. And these milestones, these recognitions are just you know indication that okay, we are doing something right. But I'm so glad you're saying, in some way they say don't let it go to your head, right? So you're so grounded as a leader, which is so important, so uh, key, because the real thing is not the award. The real thing is what uh, how much difference have we made in this space of customer experience through these small improvement in journey. Like you said, several days of process, with sharing earlier, several days of process reduced to few minutes, 3 4 minutes, or like, right? This is significant, and many more such great examples. So any final message, Smita, for everybody who's watching, listening, in terms of your faith in CX on that, or anything that you want to give as a last word as we close this session.
Yeah, sure. The message that I'd like to give all of you who are watching this video is, don't get disheartened when somebody puts down your thought. Okay, it's how if you are really convinced about it, you can convince somebody else as well.
Hmm.
But in spite of that, if there are other things which is in terms of budgets not being available, etc., please don't get disheartened. That's how your life is going to be, but that should not let you down. You can look at small things which are impacting customers, which are not so expensive, and that's what we've been doing all the time. So we get a lot of pushback saying that this is too expensive, that technology is too expensive, but when we look at it, we are in AVE. Oh wow, this looks so nice. If I implement it here, this is going to improve like this. But your organization might not be able to absorb it at the time that you want it to do, right? So
Hmm.
please don't get disheartened. Work on the small things, that also matters.
Hmm.
So listen to the customer. So customer VOC is such a powerful tool. It gives you the ideas. You might not have the ideas all the time, but when you hear it from the customer, he will give you just those one liners. Why is
Hmm.
it taking time? Is one liner which gets you thinking, right? Why should it take time? Why can't it be done immediately? Isn't it? So,
Hmm.
how can we get our processes done immediately is something that you can keep working on, that spans out to be a big project in itself.
Hmm.
So, those are the things that probably keenly you can look at. customer VOC the most powerful tool to change your organization. And don't get disheartened if you're not getting the budgets to do whatever you want to do. It will come your way if you are really convinced about it at the right opportune time, right? That's
Yes.
my final words.
Great, Smita. I think all of you watching, listening, you can see how practitioner-centric advice, practical, actionable, implementable advice this is, and that differentiates a true CX leader. You know, so glad, Smita, that you are here, and I look forward to many more Hall of Fames. I might have to call something else than a bigger Hall of Fame or whatever. But super, I'm sure it's going to happen because you've just warmed up, and obviously you have great credibility from your all the experiences that you bring in. But CX has got enriched. I'm super happy about that. So anybody who's watching, listening, we do run, powerful, deep, customer-centric programs and help leaders unpack, the CX and unlock their own potential to make breakthrough results, bring that breakthrough results in their career, in their organization. So uh, you're free to follow, watch, share this video as well, and pick these nuggets and learn from it. Thank you so much, Smita.
Thank you so much, Rajat, for inviting me here. I'm so honored.